Hello everyone, watch this review here where they look at the Bandai's SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Vegeta. Now, in case you're wondering why there's a bit more English on this packaging that you're probably used to for the line, it's actually because Bandai decided to go ahead and release this character in the US before he went over to Japan. So this is kind of like an exclusive release for the West. I think they might have also done completely separate release for Japan, so it's just a very neat touch because typically it's all in Japanese, which isn't as cool. But as such, we get all sorts of dramatic writing, big bang attack, Kakarot, and of course on the top right here we have Final Flash. I just absolutely love the fact that they shout out the characters, slogans, and attacks all across the packaging. It's a really neat touch. Also, if you look at the side here, you can see a side of the face that kind of goes across the bend, so it's only really completely visible if you have the packaging open. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get them out of pack and have a closer look. Super Saiyan Vegeta comes with two alternate sets of hands, including two sort of flat palms, then two just open hands here, as well as two sets of, two alternate faces. It's kind of cool because the eyes are looking in different directions. They're kind of looking at each other, and they're not happy. One thing that the character does not come with, however, is any energy projectiles of any kind, which, is kind of lame considering he's got all these poses like he's about to fire an energy attack, but he does not come with any energy attacks. I don't know. I've noticed that, with the exception of the One Piece SH Figuarts, they're kind of light on accessories for most characters. Yeah. Given how much you do pay for these, it's more than a little bit disappointing. Otherwise, great looking figure. Quite a bit better looking than some of the other SH Figuarts I've picked up lately. I was really disappointed with Kazuma, for instance, but this I feel captures the look of the character from the anime quite a bit better. The one sort of downside for me at any rate is the fact you can't adjust the centerpiece of hair, and I just don't like the angle it's facing at. It's not very centered or anything. It's asymmetrical, and I'm all about the symmetry. The other thing I kind of wish they had done was just included the alternate parts to make him just his normal self. Probably wouldn't have taken that much. You just would have had an alternate face, then an alternate hairpiece. But, this frees them up so they can release that as an entirely separate figure, so yeah. Now you'll notice that he does have little shadowing effects and all that sort of stuff on him, including like bluish highlights, which are more visible towards the edges of the armor here. In some places it looks like the effect is a lot more subtle, so much so that I think I might even be imagining the shadowing at times, but from certain angles it does look like, from right here, unless he just messed up his pants there a little bit. Yeah, I'm going with a joke like that. Yeah. But I mean, you can definitely tell that they added a shadowing effect to his butt there, which is kind of weird that the most visible sort of shadow effect would be applied to the butt. It's yeah, not even gonna touch upon that. Moving right on, if you've ever seen a review for an SH Figuarts figure or owned one yourself, you'll know that these are pretty highly articulate figures, and they do the articulation fairly well. The most interesting point is usually the fact that they have shoulder joints that sort of pop out, but in Vegeta's case here, it actually also slides down, so if you want to, you could have his arm go out like this, down like this rather, which is kind of a neat touch. And it doesn't have as much sort of inward motion, but whenever you can get a character to actually like fold his arms sort of realistically, the toy company has definitely done their job and they've done it well, so some definite props there for that. Of course, he doesn't have a hand attachment that would get a really good arm fold going on. Also, the interesting thing is with Piccolo from the same series, they ended up giving him an alternate set of arms that just have a folded position, so a quick run through of articulation, and I notice I have a cut there, so I hope I don't end up messing up the gloves or anything. This review's kind of sucks so far, hasn't it? But at the wrist we have a sort of ball jointed range. It's kind of on a physical ball, or is it a peg? No, I think it's just a physical ball. Yep. And then it's sort of attached into there, so even like this point in the ball gets motion. So it's not that you're just getting the sort of inward-outward motion because it's on a ball. It's got the additional joint, which again is just so awesome. One of the big things of the line. You have a point here at the elbow. It's kind of set up in a weird way. It's like a revolver joint, except for tasteful. And I suppose if you did push it far enough, you probably could get that to go out. It's also kind of interesting because I just saw a metal piece in there. Yeah. You have a point of rotation here at the bicep. It also has some kind of inward-outward motion on that. Not sure what's up with that. Then, of course, the shoulder has a really full range, both between the physical shoulder thing and the inward shoulder, which again is totally awesome. Head rotates a fair amount of up and down. You'll notice he has this wicked Adam's apple. And look at the size of that thing. That is just kind of creepy, disgusting and disturbing and all that stuff. But I mean, if you pose the character like he should kind of be posed, it is visible only a little bit underneath the neck there. Sorry, underneath the head there. And it does make for a nice effect. It's just like when you're trying to twist the head around. It kind of gets in the way. In that, when it's twisted in that direction, it looks freaky as hell. I believe, no, that is actually a solid piece. For some reason it looked like the other parts there were just an outer thing, but it's hard to tell with these sometimes. Yeah. Then of course we have the sort of ball joint here at the waist. So you can get a little back motion, a little forward motion, but it's mostly for rotation, and when you do push it too far, it kind of pops out of the joint. Once again, that is a... hope I'm not breaking him. Now I'm not going to go all the way, but I believe it ends on a ball, just like the other parts. Then, of course, the hip, you have another sort of rod with a ball. It is connected to the straight across like this. A lot of people are really hardcore articulation enthusiasts do heavily favor the cross joint as opposed to the going up, because you get the additional motion this way. But beyond that, he also has up-down motion with that, which, again, totally awesome. Then you have the joint down here, similar to the elbow, except for it works better. Oh, by the way, I should mention, because it's on a ball, it does rotate inward and outward. It kind of makes up for the fact that you don't have an additional joint to sort of rotate the leg. And then down here at the ankle, we get normal ball joint, which includes a little pivot going on there, or ankle rockers if you prefer. I don't prefer. I never prefer to call them ankle rockers. And of course he has his little toe joints. I don't think he could balance all that well on the toe joints though. And then of course he doesn't have pegs or a stand or anything to really hold him in place. Let me just quickly sub in one of the alternate faces here just to show you how it's done. Pull off the face here, you get this really creepy looking design which almost looks like a face in itself because these things look like eyes. And yeah, I'm getting off tangent, but let's quickly toss in his action face, which has a kind of downward motion there to lock it in place. And there we go. And now we have the angry-faced Vegeta. Look at that. That's pretty neat. Actually, now he's shouting at the sky. Super Saiyan yells at clouds. So awesome. Honestly, I've never really been a huge fan of Vegeta or anything. I liked him during part of the Namek saga. That's about it, because I mean, he stole the spotlight from so many other characters, but his figure is just so totally awesome. And Vegeta actually was one of my favorite figures from the older Bandai line. Of course, I didn't have a ton from that line, 'cause back then, you know, imports were probably actually about equally expensive, but I didn't have much money back then, so, you know, kind of had to forgo it. Now, again, you'll notice little bits of blue shadowing for the gloves, and they have the same pattern down here, the boots. I'm not sure if I like that, but, you know, it does add an additional layer to the character. All in all, Super Saiyan Vegeta is a very impressive figure. He is a bit on the expensive side. I mean, just like it would be to actually import him. It is something like $40. I paid $40 on Amazon. I actually got him a little bit before Christmas, I think. It was a little before New Year's, and you know, just hadn't gotten around to opening him up. But I opened him a lot sooner than Piccolo, who I've had for about a year now, and it's just still sitting in his box. So yeah, definitely one of the coolest figures of 2011, even though he technically just squeaked by into the 2011 category, because of his release was just before the new year. But yeah, this has been a look at the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Vegeta. A very awesome figure, would recommend. A lot nicer than the Cosma, who his character I do like a lot more, but you know, Bandai just really didn't bring it for him like they did for Vegeta here. But yeah, until next time, folks. Just one quick final word after I thought about it for a few seconds. There's one thing I kind of dislike about this, and it's just that the eyes do go in all sorts of different angles, which, you know, makes posing the character kind of awkward at times, because like looks like he's about to fire an attack and he's all angry and stuff, but he's looking over to the side. And of course, in this case, he's looking over to the other side. Merely wish that you have had the option to either, I don't know, adjust the eyes, or, you know, if they just opted for a little bit more standard eyes. Although, again, you know, this makes for sort of cool posing positions. It's cool, didn't break anything.